And good morning, Man Hour Nation. The playoffs are here. We are about 28 hours until kickoff, and we are going to preview each and every game out there. Hoppy's going to give you 3 keys to victory. I'm going to give you 3 keys to victory, and then we're going to pick the winners and tell you who is going to win the game and why. All that, and man, we have a bet. We have a bet going on too with these weird people out there. But first, and now, Mike's thoughts. When we think about the NFL and we start tinkering about the NFL and the playoffs in general, we always think of, what could have been. How can people do this? How can people do that? And when it comes down to it, I actually got into a very interesting debate just a little while ago with somebody. I remember it was the Buffalo Bills taking on, can't remember who it was. It was like the Miami Dolphins maybe or something. But basically, Buffalo got so much snow in that particular day that they ended up playing the game over at Ford Field the following week, right? Now, I've heard people say, well, why can't the Kansas City Chiefs go and play at Indianapolis and or make something happen? I don't think it's quite that easy. A regular season game is something else. Yes, we can mix and match regular season games. They get flexed all the time. But playoffs is a different animal. This is the team's money-making opportunity. Think about it, like how many times does a team like the Buffalo Bills get to host a home playoff game? How many times does a team like the Houston Texans get to host a home playoff game? This is life-changing. This is general franchise-changing opportunities for each and one of these teams. So if you take away their ability to host a home game, you are showing that the NFL is truly rigged. If you want to think that, right? Obviously, the NFL is not rigged, but if you want to play into the trolls, you got to play that realm. Cue that intro. Are you ready for the best damn NFL show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
You know on the beat every time, no. I would like to first welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who coming to the stage sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckheischer here with the Man Hour, part of manhourradio.com. Check out the merchandise page or check out the blog section as well. We have new stuff dropping each and every day over there. And all of a sudden, guys, my OBS wants to max out. Every time, for some reason, it wants to max out. So, guys, if it is blowing out on your speakers, let me know. I think I've adjusted it enough to where it's not blowing out. But speaking of blowouts, there is a particular person out there that enjoys a lot of blowouts. This person enjoys blowouts from the left, blowouts from the right, but in the end, all the blowouts end up in his side of the field. And that is my man, Mr. Hofstetter, Mr. John Hoffman, the peanut butter to my ladies, the right-hand man because my left hand's preoccupied holding my meat. What's up, Javi?
What's up, Buckheister? What's up, Man Hour Nation? I swear to God, if you just jinxed me and I start getting blowout diapers that I got to change, we're going to have issues because luckily all I've gotten is peed on. No blowouts yet, but I'm sure, as you know, those are coming. Those are coming right down the tunnel anytime soon now.
Oh, bro. Trip is 3, and we're like, he doesn't want to pee on the potty. He will poop on the potty all day long, but peeing, no way, Jose. This man opens up the front door, walks out on the porch, and free birds it all like on the porch, right? So he's still in pull-ups, right? So just in case, whatever. And after the show, I walk in, and you smell that sweet smell, right? You know what I'm talking about. Just like that sweet smell. You're like, something doesn't smell right. Trip had shit from his knees to the middle of his back. I'm like, bro, what did you do? You're like, I poop. I'm like, well, no shit. No shit. You definitely pooped, my man. Definitely pooped. But we got to welcome some people into the chat here. We got my man, Jim Powell. He says, wasn't that the Steelers game? Hoffy, do you remember the snow game? Well, was it last year or 2 years ago when the Buffalo Bills couldn't play at home because they got like 15 feet of snow? Was that against the Steelers? I can't
recall if it was the Steelers or not. It was definitely Detroit, but yeah, I do.
Yeah,
it's starting to feel more and more like, yes, I think it was the Steelers.
I remember it vividly because the Buffalo Bills played at the Detroit Lions like that Monday night, and then they stayed there, and then they had a home game like that Sunday afternoon, like the very next day. It was just or like the very next week. So yeah, it was definitely at Detroit at the Ford Dome. I don't think it definitely wasn't a playoff game though, right? It was definitely a regular season game.
No, it was not a playoff game.
Yeah,
but yes, it was the Steelers.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for clearing that up 100%. But we got my man John in the chat as well. He says, "Happy Friday, y'all. We're preparing for a big snow in here in Michigan. Let's talk some snow." I see it snow. He says, "Let's talk some football." My bad. Mon factly. And then Hoffy's in the chat as well. He says, "Unfortunately, there will be no discussion related to your Raiders, John. They suck ass." That's a very classic way to say your team sucks. And I really appreciate you putting that out there, Hoffy, because, we are trying to be a lot more respectable. But, the clown meter is up to like 20 just so far a day. So it is what it is. We've got my man Arthur Brown. He says, "What's up, Hoffy? What's up, Buck?" What's going on, Arthur Brown? Did you guys know that Arthur Brown?
His profile pic.
That is Mahomes crying. I actually commented on that, and I said, that is just Mahomes being cold because he's going to be sitting on the sidelines the whole second half because it's going to be a blowout. Going to whoop that ass.
Speaking of blowouts.
Yeah, speaking of blowouts. Got Caroline in the chat. She says, "Patriots hat today, huh? Hoffy, I like that. I like that hat."
Well, we got to get him, we don't have a man hour one yet, but as soon as we get that man hour pom-pom hat, this thing will be going in the trash.
I doubt it. You are going to love your new coach, OJ Mayo, but it is what it is.
I still have my OJ Mayo jersey, so that might be my my jersey of choice moving forward.
Let me ask you this question before we get into the playoffs. Would you rather have OJ Mayo or Mike Vrabel? Because I feel like that's what it's coming down to.
Yeah, to be completely honest, I do love, Gerard Mayo. But I don't know if he's ready, per se. I would like to see him as the defensive coordinator and have Vrabel come in. 6 years in Tennessee, 4 winning seasons, went to an AFC championship game. So I guess it's, to be determined. I'm not going to be disappointed either way, but I think it would be better suited for the Patriots to go with Vrabel right now because you don't know what you're getting with Gerard Mayo. But he has been in the building. Kraft, Belichick, they probably, they know better than me. So we'll see.
Yeah, definitely.
Not going to be disappointed either way.
And if I said OJ Mayo, I'm definitely mistaken. OJ Mayo is a basketball player from USC. I don't know if he's in the NBA, but Gerard Mayo, my bad. David's in the chat, said Chargers are in the house. They are in the house on the couch next to the Raiders, next to the Broncos. Congratulations, but welcome to the show, David. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Arthur says you need a Dolphin Scully. No, he doesn't. Do Dolphins even make Scullies? Does he even get below 50 degrees in Florida ever?
I have red hair. I am not wearing green and orange on top of my head.
I remember Combs' wedding, like 3 years ago now, and it was me, you, and him. I don't know how we got 3 gingers on a NFL show, but stars have aligned. So maybe, just maybe, you do need a green hoodie or a beanie or Scully, whatever you want to call it. Maybe, just maybe. No,
Look like a fucking leprechaun.
what's different from any other day?
I knew that was coming.
All right, guys. So it is time to get into some NFL Man Hour NFL talk here. But let's get into Wayne G's comment here. He says Mayo is unknown. He may be great. He may be a bust. Time will tell. Bill Belichick is going to the Falcons to win a Super Bowl. Did Wayne G just put Atlanta Falcons and Super Bowl on the same level? I mean, they got talent.
I don't know.
They need a quarterback. I don't know. We got a lot of time to discuss Bill Belichick because I think he's going to end up going somewhere to be an assistant coach. Chiefs Kingdom, baby.
Jesus Christ.
All right, guys, let's get into some NFL playoff talk. Myself and Hoffy have rounded up 3 keys to victory for each team, and then we are going to eventually pick those winners of said teams. So, Hoffy, are you ready to get started with the Houston Texans taking on the Cleveland Browns?
Yes.
Let's
I
get
am
the
ready.
party started. So I'm going to go first. My first key to the victory for the Houston Texans is to let Joe. Buck, what do you mean? What do you mean by that? Joe Flacco has 8 interceptions in just 5 games this season. Yes, he has been lighting up the stat category as far as passing yards, as far as touchdowns, right? But you have to capitalize on Joe Flacco being Joe Flacco right now. Right now, Joe Flacco is hanging on to the ball for a record 3.5 seconds from snap and like until pass. He has been sacked 8 times so far this season. So that means that tells you he's hanging on to the ball, looking for the big play downfield over and over and over. So if you can get an interception from Joe Flacco, which the probabilities of you getting one is definitely up there. So let Joe and get that interception and basically capitalize on that. Number 2, do not forget about my man Nico Collins. Just because Tank Dell is no longer on the field, do not forget about the passing game. Now, in the last 5 games since Tank Dell has been out, Nico Collins has gotten 30 catches for around 500 yards. He has three touchdowns in that span as well. So just because, he isn't putting up those big flashy numbers like we expect him to, do not forget about Nico Collins. He is the man. He is the glue as that is going to keep that engine running time after time again. Also, in his last 9 home games, Nico Collins he is just averaging over 100 yards per game with 7 touchdowns. AKA, let this man eat over and over and over again. And my third key to victory is attack the Browns defense. Well, Buck, the Browns have the best defense in the league. They do, at home. On the road, the Browns are ranked 30th in every major stat category, giving up rushing, yards, points, etc. We've been talking about it for weeks. They have one of the worst road defenses out there. So I want CJ Stroud to attack the Browns defense head on. I want Nico Collins to attack that Browns defense head on. I want you to rush the ball. I want you to attack the Browns defense over and over and over again. Force them to stop the ball. Force them to stop you, and then let Joe. Those are my keys to victory.
Let Joe. Joe is a different Joe come playoff time. What was it? 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions in that Super Bowl run. I think he's going to have to duplicate that again in order for Cleveland to be successful. But that will bring me to point number 1, and that is to win the turnover battle. As you said already, 5 games, 8 interceptions. They are -9 in the turnover category. I think that is the quickest way, and we discussed this yesterday, the quickest way to lose a road playoff game is turnovers. So they need to win the turnover battle. against the Houston Texans to win that game. Number 2, get Amari Cooper back up to speed. He has missed the last couple games with a heel injury. The last time he did play, he put up 265 yards, 2 touchdowns versus the Houston Texans. So they need to duplicate that success. He's gone for 1,250 yards this year, 5 TDs. So get Amari Cooper the ball, and good things will happen. The third and last one, pressure CJ Stroud. He is a rookie quarterback, his first playoff game. Most likely going to be on some wobbly legs while he tries to get comfortable. I think Myles Garrett is going to have to get after him. He's got 14 sacks this year, 4 forced fumbles. CJ Stroud is 9th in the league with sacks. He's been sacked 38 times, so they need to rattle the cage of CJ Stroud. That is how the Cleveland Browns will beat the Houston Texans.
So just to recap here, guys, just to recap our 3 keys of victory, I think the Houston Texans need to let Joe. I think they need to use Nico Collins over and over and over again, and they need to attack the Browns defense. Hoffy's 3 keys to the Cleveland Browns is pressure CJ Stroud, get in that man's face, keep him rattled, let Amari Cooper get him the damn ball, and then win the turnover battle as well. So we do got some people jumping in to the chat here, and my man Ant says Singletary Jr. and Cooper are going to be interesting to as those 2 guys are going to be X factors, but we cannot forget about Njoku. Njoku's a freaking beast.
He would have been number 4.
Yeah. Speaking of which, Hoffy, we might have No Coup Thursdays coming up here off season. Every Thursday he might be joining us. We're still kind of working out some logistics, but might get that happening. Matthew's in the chat and like he says, I don't know why we gave up on Amari Cooper in Dallas. He's going to need a good defense. So the Cowboys gave up on Amari Cooper because they had CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, and didn't they just draft Turpin at the same time? So you were paying Amari Cooper to basically be a third guy. Like, get him out of town, get what you want. Like, I think it was a win-win for both. Wayne G says the Browns were able to shut down mobile quarterback Fields and Lamar. Couldn't throw or run versus the Browns D. I believe both of those games were at home though too as well. If I'm not mistaken. Ant says they did not shut down Lamar. I don't think anybody shut down Lamar. But Hoffy, first playoff game of 2024 season, we do have the Cleveland Browns take on the Houston Texans. Who do you got winning?
I think that the Cleveland Browns are going to win this game.
Listen, everything in my loins is telling me to pick the Cleveland Browns. You know, Joe Flacco, they have the experience. Houston Texans have a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback, very young defense. And I want to pick the home team. I want to pick the home team in this upset or whatever you want to call it. But have you ever seen the Blues Brothers, Hoffy?
Oh, that is a classic. If you haven't seen it, you're not living life.
The Cleveland Browns are on a mission from God. They're on a mission from God to make a lot of wins. So I am picking the Browns as well. So Hoffy's got the Browns. I got the Browns. Guys, in the comments below, let us know, who do you have winning this game versus the Houston Texans versus the Browns? We see Arthur Brown's taking the Browns as well. So we know we're doing good when we pick the same thing as Arthur Brown. We know we're doing
his vote doesn't count.
His vote doesn't
his
count.
last name, that's conflict of interest.
Yeah, I mean, apparently Arthur Brown is part owner of the Cleveland Browns because they do share the same name. Ant is saying that the Browns are going to win 27-20. Caroline likes the Texans. Hoffy, if the Texans were to win, would it be considered an upset? Because it's the playoffs, right? All the teams are supposed to be good in the playoffs. If the Texans win at home, would it be considered an upset? Like, I I'm not sure
I
if
don't, I
can
don't
call
think
an
it would
upset.
be. I mean, they have a solid team. I mean, yes, they're a young team and rookie coach, rookie quarterback. But that same rookie quarterback has also been, in some. He's been playing at Ohio State, where there's been more people in the stands. They've been louder in the stands than NFL games. So I think he can perform under the bright lights. He's done it before. And I'll be rooting for the Texans. I think that the Cleveland Browns are, just like you said, they're on a mission from God this year. Don't know that leads them to a Super Bowl, but I think they're them and their community are all one man band, and I think they're going to do some wreak some havoc, and we'll see how far they go. But I think the Browns will pull off the upset.
Yeah, and Jim thinks the absolutely Browns are going to win the game as well. Matthew Hathorn says it would be cool to see the Browns go to the Super Bowl. I've been hearing a lot of people saying that they would like to see a Lions-Browns Super Bowl, like a matchup of non-winning Super Bowl teams ever. I guess you can throw the Commanders up there too, or not the Commanders, but the Bills, right? But John says
the Bills had their chance.
Yeah, 4 years in a row. But too soon. Arthur Brown says defense wins championships. I do agree. Defenses travel well, but for some reason, the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns defense both does not travel very well for them. David says, I think the Browns have more veteran players. Absolutely. The Browns they have Amari Cooper, they have Joe Flacco, they have Myles Garrett. But at the same time, I believe Joe Burrow is the only person on either team that has had a Super Bowl or a playoff win on any of those teams. Because think about this, when the Browns were, I take that back, the Browns did beat the Steelers, right? Like 4 years ago in the playoffs with like Baker, so they might have some leftover players then, but pretty much this is very new territory for a lot of the key players. Wayne G's picking the Browns 20-10. John says, is it in Cleveland? No, it is in Houston, Texas, in NRG Stadium. Houston Texans won the AFC South, so they get the right to host a home playoff game. So with that being said, guys, let's move on to the next game. We do have the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Miami Dolphins. It is supposed to be one of the coldest games ever on record in the NFL. And that is going to be my keys to victory is number one, is for the Kansas City Chiefs, is they have to use the weather. Use the weather to your advantage. Yes, right now, the Miami Dolphins are ranked 7th in rushing defense. But they no longer have Bradley Chubb. They no longer have Jalen Phillips. Van Ginkel is supposed to be out as well. I want to see at least 30 rushing attempts from the Kansas City Chiefs this game. I want to see Isaiah Pacheco be dog-ass tired at the end of this game. I want to see Clyde Edwards-Helaire dog-ass tired after this game. What is more demoralizing than not only playing in the cold weather, but getting your ass kicked physically in the cold weather? That makes that -2 feel probably more like -30, because you're like, man, we're just getting our ass kicked up and down the field, up and down the field, up and down the field. So I want to see the Chiefs use the weather to their advantage, aka run the ball. Also, on the flip side of that, Hoffy, do you know what happens when it gets cold outside? The footballs get hard, really, really hard. Hurts your fingers, right? Kansas City Chiefs receivers have a problem catching a warm ball. They're not going to catch a hard ball. Don't shoot the messenger. They're not going to catch a hard ball either. So it is what it is. Use the weather to your advantage. My key to victory number 2 is take away the running game of the Miami Dolphins. The Miami Dolphins seem to be a really, really balanced offense, right? And when they are a well-balanced offense, running and passing, passing and running, they are very, very hard to stop. One of the strengths of the Kansas City Chiefs is their pass defense, right? They are ranked 4th in passing defense, giving up only 176 yards per game. On the flip side of that, they're 17th in rush defense, giving up 113 yards per game. So if you take away the running game, limit Mostert, limit Achane, force the Miami Dolphins into long yardage situations, force them to pass the ball, you are basically forcing you into my strength of my team. And then key number 3 is I want to see the Kansas City Chiefs jump out early. I want to see them jump out to a 10-0, 14-0 lead quickly in the first quarter, because the second quarter has been kind of the Achilles heel for the Kansas City Chiefs so far this season. So if you jump out early, 10, 14-0, that takes away the running game, forces the Miami Dolphins to in a one-dimensional playing catch up, pass the ball into the strength of my defense, and that uses the weather to my advantage because it's hard to catch a cold ball. Those are my 3 keys to victory.
So, number 1 for me, and it might not even be something that's even possible with, the weather and what's going to be going down. But number 1 for me is to pressure Pat Mahomes. He was the most pressured quarterback this season. However, when they faced off earlier in the season, the Miami Dolphins only had 2 sacks. Both of those came from Mr. Chubb. He will not be playing in this game. So key number 1 is when they do decide to pass the ball, get pressure on Pat Mahomes, force him to, maybe not be able to throw a good ball or put it right on the receiver's chest so that they will continue to drop the ball. Number 2, Tyreek Hill. Feed Tyreek Hill. He needs to have a big game against his former team. He had 8 catches, 62 yards, and a huge fumble that was returned for a touchdown in their regular season matchup. So Tyreek Hill needs to have himself a game and, just be Tyreek Hill of old, not the Tyreek that we have seen of late. Hopefully his ankle is better. Number 3, it goes against what Buck said to shut down, and that is to unleash the 2-headed ground game. Their previous game, they fell, this regular season, they fell behind 21-0. So they really had to step away from that running game. A-Chain was out on that game, but Mostert did average 7 yards per carry in that 21-14 loss to the Chiefs. So at that time, they did not have their 2-headed monster. So they need to rely on their 2-headed monster to beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and just to add to your point, when the Miami Dolphins did play the Chiefs in Germany, the Miami Dolphins did shut out the Chiefs in the second half. So their defense was a very, very good in the second half of that game. One thing we forgot to add was we talked on it yesterday. Hoffy looked up those stats, and Tua has never won a game below 40 degrees. It's going to be just a little bit below 40 degrees at kickoff. So if you are playing laws of averages, at some point he's bound to win the game. So Hoffy, I'm giving you my keys. You giving me your keys. Who do you think is going to win this game versus the Kansas City Chiefs versus the Miami Dolphins?
Well, the Chiefs have allowed over 113 yards per game rushing. They're 18th in the league, 4.5 yards per carry. That's the 8th worst in the NFL this year. Miami led the league with 5.1 yards per attempt, and they established the run game against Kansas City in the cold is going to be definitely critical to their success. But that being said, I don't think it will lead to a win. I think the Kansas City Chiefs will defend their turf.
Yeah, I am with you on this as well. Taking my Chiefs fandom out of it, taking my Super Bowl championship hat off from the last 2 seasons here. I got 2 and 3. Taking my Super Bowl banner down. Just pure, I like the Kansas City Chiefs at home, and I like for them to really put a nice, complete game together, because that is one thing that the Kansas City Chiefs haven't done all season long was play a full game. They've had spurts where they've looked magical, right? Second quarter, third quarter, but they have yet to put in full 4 quarters, and I expect them to see that this week. So guys, let us know in the comments below, who do you got winning Saturday night's game on Peacock, Kansas City Chiefs versus the Miami Dolphins. Guys, I will be streaming this game over on our affiliate page, so I will be posting the link on Facebook. So if you don't go out and buy Peacock, guys, come over to facebook.com/manhour NFL Talk. I will post a link for you guys to watch the game for free. So don't worry about buying Peacock. Watch on the Man Hour platform on Saturday night. But Ant says he's got the Chiefs winning 24-16. That would be one hell of a game. I kind of like that score a lot. Arthur Brown says, so when we use the sun, it's cheating. Listen, Arthur Brown. The Miami Dolphins put a cover on their stadium to physically alter the sun coming down on the stadium so they can shield the Miami Dolphins side, and the sun is shining in the face of the opponents. Like I thought, I saw a YouTube clip. They had a thermostat on the sideline. The Miami Dolphins was a cool 88 degrees, beautiful, very, very comfortable. You go over to the side. I don't remember what game it was. 122 degrees. Literally 40-degree difference from one side of the field to the other because of that shade cover. That's not cheating. It's just playing in the gray area. I guess. I don't know. Wayne G says cold plus noise plus Mahomes' playoff record of 11-3 equals the Chiefs winning 27-10. Very, very true. Very, very true. Caroline says Chiefs all the way, baby. My man Carson Lang is in the chat. He says Dolphins are getting their shit pushed in. They're not as good as a team as their record shows. Hoffy, are the Miami Dolphins overrated?
I wouldn't say they're completely overrated. I do agree with Carson Lang that they are not as good as their record shows. I think they are a wild card team. That's exactly where they are. But I think that the injuries are just too much for the Dolphins to overcome. I mean, they've lost their two biggest pass rushers. They've lost their defensive, captain in the backfield in, was it Van Kinkel or whatnot? So, Hill is, I get it. Everyone's dealing with injuries right now, but I think this Miami offense, this Miami defense, they have to be healthy to be dominant. And I think Hill is, suffering a little bit as well. So no, I think that they're hobbled with injuries, and that's going to I think it's really going to show against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, and just to add to your factor, this shows you how big of a impact of Bradley Chubb not being on the field. Of the 30 pass rush or pressures on the quarterback the last 3 games for the Miami Dolphins, Bradley Chubb has had 67% of those pass rushes on the quarterbacks. He is out. They signed Justin Houston and Bruce Irvin. So it's tough sledding for the Miami Dolphins fans right now. David says this is the key. We will find out tomorrow if Kelsey and Mahomes are ready for a playoff run or they've already packed their leotards to wear on Taylor's tour.
Touche.
Speaking like a Chargers fan there. Jim says Miami is not them this year. They are going into Boogie Town to get down in these conditions. As Danny as Kansas City Chiefs players are, they still cannot get down in that weather. And I'm pretty sure Kansas City Chiefs have been practicing outside in this weather all week long. So I'm not worried about the weather if I'm a Chiefs fan. And says Dolphins secondary should be able to hold up, but if the Chiefs run game gets going and if Mahomes gets a couple of 7 to 10 yard runs, then it's a wrap. Definitely a wrap. Arthur says Finns win, baby. Caroline said the Chiefs win, baby. Arthur Brown says run, baby, run. You can run all you want, but at the end of the day, you're going to have to score touchdowns, and the Kansas City Chiefs have the best red defense in the NFL right now. Jim says you do not want to catch Isaiah Pacheco running full speed head-to-head. Fast hurts in the cold. Exactly. Once your pads get so cold, you don't want that smoke. No way, no how. Wilkinson's going to try to get him a handful of Mahomes Happy Meal. says Carson. I love it. I love it. I love it. But guys, that is the Kansas City Chiefs taking on the Miami Dolphins. Hoffy and myself both have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this particular game, and that gives us the first Sunday game of the afternoon, and that is the Pittsburgh Steelers taking on the Buffalo Bills. Hoffy, I had the Steelers, right? I can't remember.
Correct.
Okay. I just want to make sure that I had the Steelers because I wrote down my keys, but I did not write down the team. But the keys to the victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers is number one here, is stop the running game of the Buffalo Bills. When James Cook rushes for over 60 yards in a game, the Bills win. They only have one loss this season when James Cook has rushed over 60 yards in a game, and that was to the Denver Broncos. And that was when the Denver Broncos were clicking on all cylinders and the wheels were literally falling off of the Buffalo Bills bandwagon. I think after that game, they fired their offensive coordinator. They threw out the playbook and bought a brand new one in from the University of Alabama. Roll Tide. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have to stop the running game. And it is going to be tough without your guy, TJ Watt, out there. TJ Watt is out of this game with a hyperextended knee. So they're going to be a wee bit hobbled. Next up is win the time of possession battle. The last few games for the Buffalo Bills, they have had a time of possession of 32 minutes, 33 minutes, 38 minutes, and another 32 minutes as well. The Buffalo Bills have been winning the time of possession battle the last 5 weeks. On the other hand, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not. They have 28 minutes, 30 minutes, and then 35 minutes. So if the Pittsburgh Steelers can control the clock, win the time of battle, keep Josh Allen and the offense off of that field, that takes away the running game, that forces Josh Allen to be one-dimensional, win the time of possession battle. And then number 3, Stefon Diggs. Keep the ball out of Stefon Diggs' hand. Let him self-implode that team. We have seen it. Playoff loss after playoff loss after playoff loss. Stefon Diggs, hands out, yelling at Josh Allen, this is your fault, this is your fault, this is your fault. Let Stefon Diggs self-implode this team by pointing blame on everybody else when they are down and he is not getting the ball. Those are my 3 key victories to the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, I will start with my number 1, and that would be for Sean McDermott to prioritize Stefon Diggs in the game and get him involved early and help his offense get into a early rhythm. Stefon Diggs, 3-time Pro Bowler. He's had his lowest receiving yards, total since, playing 15 games. That was in 2019. He's yet to cross the century mark since Week 6 showdown against the New York Giants. So I think a key is getting Stefon Diggs involved early and getting him a big game, over 100 yards. And I think that's going to happen. Number 2 kind of goes with the number 1, and that is to pick on the suspect Steelers secondary. Normally the Steelers secondary is pretty stout, but this year they rank in the bottom half of the league in passing yards allowed, yards per completion. So you need to pick on that Pittsburgh secondary. And number 3, disrupt Mason Rudolph's timing. Mason Rudolph, since he's come in, he's 3-0. He's got 118 QBR to end his campaign this year. He completed just the past 2 weeks, 36 of 44 passes, 81% completion percentage. But they need to, disrupt Mason Rudolph's timing and turn Mason Rudolph into the Mason Rudolph of old that we've seen, without maybe smashing him over the head with a helmet, but, disrupt Mason Rudolph's timing. Those are my 3 keys to Buffalo winning this game.
All right, guys. So just to recap our keys to victory here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, stop the running game, win the time of possession battle for the Pittsburgh Steelers, and keep the ball out of Stefon Diggs' hands. And Hoffy thinks the key to victory for the Buffalo Bills is to pick on the secondary of the Pittsburgh Steelers, suspect, as he said. Let Stefon Diggs eat, get him the ball over and over and over again, 100 yards he would like to see, and then pressure Mason Rudolph. Those are our keys to the victory for each team. Hoffy, with that being said, who do you got winning this matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Buffalo Bills?
Bills Mafia.
Bills Mafia for the win. Now, if TJ Watt was playing this game, I feel like it would be a totally different game. I think TJ Watt is a game changer, can definitely change the game in a very positive way for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Put pressure on Josh Allen, stop the run. TJ Watt is a man, the myth, the legend. Better than Myles Garrett, better than Aaron Donald. Should be the defensive player of the year, but we digress from that. With that being said, I'm picking the Buffalo Bills as well at home. It's supposed to be like 12 foot of snow out there. Pittsburgh Steelers are just happy to be there. Give me the Buffalo Bills over and over and over and over again. Caroline says, I got the Steelers, but if they lose, it's going to be because they don't have TJ Watt. TJ Watt is definitely a game changer for the Pittsburgh Steelers on both sides of the ball. Carson Lang says the key to victory for the Pittsburgh Steelers is to stay at home. Don't pack your shit. Don't get on the plane and stay at home. Is that
Okay,
Carson
Brandon
or Combs there? I'm confused by that.
Show up.
Show up. Jim Powell says Josh is going to handle the Steelers like Roethlisberger handles folks in the South Alabama nightclub restroom. Allegedly. Oh,
So
man.
allegedly, if they find semen, traces of semen on them,
It's guys always they get full. They gotta let it out somehow. It's just like it is what it is. Jim Powell says, does Diggs want to go play for the Cowboys worse than he wants to win a playoff game? Listen, I've been on record, and I'm going to stand by it. I think if the Buffalo Bills are an early exit in the playoffs and Stephon Diggs does not eat, he's getting traded somewhere. He will no longer be a Buffalo Bill. Yes, I understand the cap hit. Yes, I understand this, and this, and this. But at some point, the Buffalo Bills have to eat their crow and move on from Stephon Diggs. We had a great little run, whatever. So, Hoffy, do you think Stephon Diggs could we spoke on it yesterday just like a tad bit. Does he want to win too much? Is he forcing the ball, like forcing his hand too much? Could he force his way out by dropping the ball on Sunday? Oh, it's too cold to catch this ball. I don't want to get hit. Do you think Stephon Diggs would do something like just like that?
yeah, I think when they made the change at offensive coordinator, at that time you could have said if they didn't make a deep playoff run that I would say it would be Sean McDermott that would not be back more so than Stephon Diggs. But I think the run that they went on has definitely bought Sean McDermott some time. But yeah, I do think that they could, if they're not successful in the playoffs and they don't go on a run and make like the AFC Championship game, and even if they do make the AFC Championship game, that, we saw Stephon Diggs, pretty upset, when they lost to the Bills in that AFC Championship and sat there and watched the confetti. I could see them, deciding to move on from him. But that being said, I think it's beneficial to both parties to work it out. We don't know what's going on behind closed doors. We see the, speculation that he's a cancer, this and that. We don't know. Only the Bills know. But I think we will know the answer on whether or not Stephon Diggs is back in uniform next year.
Yeah, and if Stephon Diggs wants to win, come on to Kansas City, baby. We will gladly take on your contract and your ego if you can catch the ball. John brings up a good point here. He says Stephon Diggs and the Steelers secondary will be a complete non-factor if we are going to be seeing 50-mile-an-hour winds. And I disagree with that because we saw it, was it 2 years ago when the Patriots came into town and the Buffalo Bills had like 60-mile-an-hour winds all game long. Josh Allen still threw the ball for 30 or 40 times in that game. Josh Allen has a big, strong arm. He's a great quarterback for Buffalo in these conditions. So, Hoffy, you are up in that area. Are you guys expecting the 50, 60-mile-an-hour winds that they're saying, or like just like that, like John thinks is going to happen? And does that take away Josh Allen and the Pittsburgh Steelers secondary?
I mean, I haven't really looked at the weather. However, that being said, they're in a stadium that surrounds them. So, yes, there might be those 60-mile-an-hour winds, but those 60-mile-an-hour winds aren't necessarily going to be on the actual field itself. So, I agree. It would benefit them to feed Cook. I mean, Cook has been a monster.
Yeah.
but there is no way that they're not going to throw the ball. Like you said, they threw the ball 30 plus times in that game against the Patriots, where the Patriots only threw the ball, I think, 3 times. I think Mac went like 2 for 3, as far as throwing. So they're not going to not throw the ball. They are not a run heavy team. So no, they will continue to run and throw the ball, whether it is a tornado, a blizzard, windy, doesn't matter. Josh Allen will throw the ball.
And if the wind is a factor, because it does come down to the stadium and it swirls, right? If it becomes a factor, that gives the advantage to the Pittsburgh Steelers, because Najee Harris, I think, is better than James Cook. That's just me speaking.
So Najee Harris, this was like, I put this in at number 4 if we kind of continue to go on to it. But Najee Harris has not had a very good year. However, since Mason Rudolph has taken over, he's had 312 yards over the last 3 weeks. He's averaging 24 carries per game, 4.3 yards per carry. So that was kind of another, just a little side key. They do have to contain Harris to walk away victorious. So yeah, I do think Najee Harris, he's these past 3 weeks, he's really come on. So they do need to kind of solidify the run defense as well.
Yeah. So Carson says, even if TJ Watt was playing and was still there and 100%, the Bills will still be winning. Arthur Brown, Steelers for the win. He's picking the upset. I can get behind this a little bit, but I'm still sticking with the Buffalo Bills. John asks, will we ever get that follow-up of Bill Belichick's head coaching record without Tom Brady? I will. I have not had time. I've been busy at work and personal life. I will get that done today for you guys, John, and I will post it up. Alleged Seaman, says Carson. Allegedly. Ant says, Steelers, oh my good Lord. Steelers may pull off this upset if Najee and Warren gets going. Bills definitely got to get to Rudolph early and make him uncomfortable. Steelers defense won't be able to make Allen uncomfortable because Watt isn't there. So I think the Buffalo Bills will take advantage of the running. The Buffalo Bills will take advantage of that by running it right to the side where TJ Watt usually lines up. Probably very correct on that one. But we both do have the Buffalo Bills winning this game. And that brings us to, I think, the game of the day. The game of the day, the game of the year. All the Cowboys haters, come on out. Because we do have the 3 key victories for the Green Bay Packers taking on the Dallas Cowboys in this matchup. My first key to the victory for the Dallas Cowboys is to run the ball. Yes, the Dallas Cowboys offense has been very lackluster of running the ball so far this season. Tony Pollard only has 1,000 yards. Rico Dunn only has 361 yards. But on the flip side of the coin, the Green Bay Packers rush defense is 28th in the league, giving up 128 yards per game. Now, their pass defense is ranked 9th, giving up just 206 yards per game. But I want to see the Dallas Cowboys establish that run. Make Jair Alexander come down in the box a little bit. Make that young secondary start questioning, we got to come up in the box and we got to stop the man, Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard was a great running back when Zeke was there. He has kind of digressed a little bit this season, but at the same time, it's time to take the training wheels off Tony Pollard. Run the damn ball if you are the Dallas Cowboys. Secondly, is I want the Dallas Cowboys to put the Green Bay Packers in long yardage situations. Win on first down. Make it second and long. Make it third and long. Win the first down. Make the Green Bay Packers in long yardage situations. Because what is great on the Dallas Cowboys side of the defensive side of the ball is their pass rush. Their ability to pin back the ears and Micah Parsons getting back to the quarterback over and over and over again. Letting Bland get another pick six. Letting Stephon Gilmore get in the under the skin of the other guy. And how do you do that? Consistently pass the ball. So therefore, you got to win on first down. Keep the Packers in long yardage situations. Also, and then number 3, even though I want you to run the ball, Even though the Packers are a top 10 defense of passing, CeeDee Lamb is the man right now. The key to victory right now, number 3 to me, is Dak Prescott to CeeDee Lamb. Let the people eat. Dak Prescott throwing to CeeDee Lamb this season is 70% passing. He has over 1,000 yards passing to CeeDee as well. It was 1,700 actually. And they have the first, they're ranked first in touchdown from quarterback to receiver. Also, it has 80% of the plays. CeeDee Lamb has been double teamed, and when he is double teamed, he catches the ball at a 96% rate. So let CeeDee Lamb eat still, even though I want you to run the ball.
Speaking of run the ball, that is number 1 for my Green Bay Packers, to run the football. Aaron Jones running the football will minimize the pass rush. Last year when they went head-to-head, the Packers ran for 207 yards. Aaron Jones does have 3 straight 100-yard games since week 16 through 18. He has also led the league in yards, first downs, and rushing offense. So the Green Bay Packers' keys to success, number 1, is running the football against the Dallas Cowgirls. Number 2, force Dak into making mistakes. Last year they forced 2 interceptions. I think they're going to have to force, 2+ turnovers from Dak and the Cowboys to be successful and win this game. And number 3, limit Parsons. He only had nine pass rushing opportunities last year. He finished with only 1 pressure on Aaron Rodgers, and Aaron Rodgers was under pressure on only 7 of his dropbacks last year. So in that game, so I think they need to limit Parsons from pressuring Jordan Love, allow him a clean pocket to make plays, because quite frankly, it's probably going to be a shootout, and you're going to need to, keep Jordan Love upright so he can, make those throws and continue to put up points for the Green Bay Packers.
All right, so just to recap our keys of victory on both sides of the ball here, the Dallas Cowboys, I want them to run the ball some more. Keep the Packers in long yardage situations, 2nd and long, 3rd and long, and do not forget about CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb is the best receiver in the NFL right now, above Tyreek Hill, above JJ. Get the ball to CeeDee Lamb over and over and over again. Hoffy thinks the Packers need to run the ball with Aaron Jones. Give the man the ball. Let him eat. Aaron Jones is on a tear right now, and he's got some fresh legs since he hasn't played a lot of the season. And Hoffy thinks they also need to create turnovers. Get Dak Prescott to throw some interceptions, from what Hoffy said. And also, you need to limit Micah Parsons. Take him basically out of the game. And with that being said, Arthur Brown comes in and says the Packers' key to victory is to watch the Dolphins and Cowboys tape. Yes. That was a very, very good game on both sides of the ball, and you are 100%, Jim. Or sorry, Arthur. So, Hoffy, with that being said, Dallas Cowboys take on the Green Bay Packers. Who do you got?
Dallas Cowboys.
The Dallas Cowboys. Put some respect on their name. The true MVP, Dak Prescott. I got the Dallas Cowboys too. Both got the Dallas Cowboys.
True MVP is Lamar Jackson.
Is he? Is he?
Yes.
Is he? Moving on.
Yes. It was between him and Brock Purdy, and that came down to their head-to-head matchup. So, yes, it will be Lamar Jackson.
Oh. Okay. I mean, MVP is the most valuable player, and Lamar Jackson is very valuable for his team, but we'll save that conversation for a different day. Moving on. The LA Rams taking on the Detroit Lions. This game has a Hollywood magic ending or storybook writing, or NFL did something right by getting this game matched up. Obviously, this is the Lions' first game at Ford Field ever in the playoffs. Sorry, is it ever? Yeah, ever. Since 2002, ever. But the key to the victory for the Detroit Lions is, number 1, is to keep passing the ball. The Rams are ranked 20th in passing defense, getting up 233 yards per game and 21 touchdowns. Excuse me. Jared Goff has over 4,500 yards passing this season, averaging just around 270 yards per game. and he's completion at a 67% completion rate and 30 and he has 30 touchdowns, which is fourth in the NFL, just to 12 interceptions. Keep passing the ball, Jared Goff and Detroit Lions. Keep passing the ball, keep passing the ball, keep passing the ball. And with that being said, what I just mentioned, and this is the first home playoff game for the Detroit Lions ever at Ford Field. The first time earlier in the season, we saw them have a first Monday night game at Ford Field in a very, very long time, and they shit the bed versus the Seattle Seahawks. So my key to victory is number two is don't let the moment get too big. Yes, it's going to be loud. Yes, it's going to be hyped. Yes, there's going to be a lot of pregame festivities. Don't let the moment get too big for you. Take it all in, enjoy it, but don't exert more energy than you need to pregame. I have been there. I have done that. There have been times when I've exerted more energy pregame because I'm so hyped for a game that I am dog ass tired come first quarter because I just exerted all this energy. Don't let the moment be too big. On keys number 3 is do not let there be a shootout. Yes, Jared Goff and the Detroit Lions are passing the ball at a very, very efficient rate. But I don't want you to get into a shootout. The Lions offense is ranked 3rd in total yards with 394 per game. However, on the flip side of that coin, the LA Rams are 7th with 359 yards per game. If you just take the last 8 or 9 games of the season, the LA Rams are number 2. The LA Rams are clicking on offense right now, and I do not want you to get into a shootout because the last time the Lions got into a shootout, week number 2 versus the Seahawks, they lost that game. The next shootout that they had versus the LA Chargers, it came down to a very gutsy 4-down call to basically stop the bleeding, to seal the deal. So don't get into a shootout versus the LA Rams.
Number 1 for me would be the Rams pass offense. They need to exploit the defensive weakness, attack the pass defense of the Lions. They are 27th in pass defense, allowing 247 yards per game, while the Rams rank 7th in yards per game at 359 yards. So number 1 would be to pass the ball. Number 2, once you have passed the ball, run the ball. Once you have the pass game going, make sure you lean on Karen Williams. Don't be one-dimensional. I think Karen Williams, over 1,000 yards. I don't think that the Rams have had that in their years past. So don't forget that you have a running back that is capable of, carrying the ball. So number 1, pass the ball. Number 2, once you have that pass game going, make sure you don't forget about the run game. And number 3, the Rams, and you touched on it, Buck, the Rams pass defense. They need to step up. They have given up a lot of big plays over the top. The backing, the Lions passing game is their strong suit. So they need to limit those big plays and just try and make Jared Goff dink and dunk down the field. And eventually he's going to try and make those, he's going to get tired of that. And then you might force him into a turnover or two. So number 1, pass the ball. Number 2, rely on Karen Williams and run the ball. And number 3, their pass defense needs to step up.
All right, so with that being said, Hoffy, the Rams do travel to Ford Field to take on the Detroit Lions Sunday night. Who do you got winning that game?
I think right now I am leaning towards the Los Angeles Rams.
Yeah, and I think we are on the same page of that. I think the Rams do go into Ford Field and they do pull the upset. I think the moment will be too big for the Detroit Lions. The fan base is just happy to be there. We saw it when the Lions beat the Vikings 3 weeks ago when they won the AFC North for the first time ever, right? They are satisfied with just being there, right? And we've seen it with the other teams out there, the Eagles, kind of satisfied with just being 10-1. The Kansas City Chiefs satisfied, there's a lot of satisfaction out there right now. Caroline is picking the Lions. She says Lions all the way. Our boy Ant says Rams 33-24. Lions secondary isn't good either. Puka and Cooper will have a field day. Williams will get his touches, and Stafford is a better quarterback than Jared Goff. This game will come down who controls the time of possession, and of course, the most points. And then John blew up the chat there. He basically said that Lamar Jackson is the MVP of the league. He's questioning if Lamar Jackson is the MVP of the league. 15th in passing, 10 in passing yards. We can definitely get into that MVP talk at some point. Jay, he's a huge Lions fan. He says Lions run defense is legit. Hutchinson will get to Stafford. They can't stop Monty and Gibbs. And Sam Laporta ran routes yesterday, so he is good. Lions win. I forgot Sam Laporta hyperextended his hyperextended knee or something like that. I can't remember. Arthur Brown is picking the Rams as well. Jay says get ready for a huge plate of crow. Listen, Jay, if the Lions beat the Rams, I got my Adrian Hutchinson jersey right there. I will wear it all next week just for you, every day. All right, so moving on to the final game of the weekend, Super Wild Card. We do have a Monday night matchup with the Eagles taking on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm going to give you 3 ways that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers can beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And number 1 is I want the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to take away A.J. Brown. We have spoken on A.J. Brown a lot the last few days, and I feel he truly is a cancer of this team. Hoffy said at it best. There's a reason why the Tennessee Titans basically let him walk away, right? Yes, it was a first-round pick or whatever, but they basically just said, get out of town. We can replace you. In the last 5 games, granted, he did get injured versus the New York Giants, but for the versus the New York Giants, A.J. Brown had 1 catch for 9 yards. Versus the Cardinals, he had 4 catches for 53 yards. Versus the Giants, he had 6 for 80 yards. Versus the Cowboys, he had 5 for 56. And then versus the Seahawks, he had 9 for 94 yards. So basically, I want you guys just to take A.J. Brown out. Let Devontae Smith have his. Let Swift as his. Take away A.J. Brown. Let him blow up on the sideline and self-implode that team. Number 2. Keep the. I don't want to see that tush push. If I see the tush push, the Buccaneers are going to lose this game. So how do you keep out? If no tush push, keep the Eagles 3rd and 4th downs over 2 yards. We don't want to see the tush push. The tush push is a killer of your momentum. You get down. Hey, we held these guys down to fourth down. Let's get out of here. Oh, crap, they're running the tush push. They push us 3 yards down the field. It is a very, very momentum killer. And then number 3, Mike Evans and Baker Mayfield have a connection right now that is very, very magical. We actually just wrote a blog on it about how much Baker Mayfield relies on Mike Evans and if he's using him too much. If it's not broke, don't fix it, baby. Just get Baker Mayfield a brand new can of dip, put it in his pants right there, get him on the sideline. Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans, that is a key number 3. So I got the take away A.J. Brown, no tush push, we don't want to see that crap, and Baker to Evans, make it happen.
So keys to Philadelphia Eagles is going to be the dynamic duo wide receiver combo they have in A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, both posted over 1,000 yards receiving, second straight year. I think that you need to have the dynamic duo have a big game. Number 2, DeAndre Swift, the Philadelphia native, former Georgia Bulldog, is entering 2024 NFL free agency after posting pretty solid numbers this year. I think he needs to have continue to have a big game and help alleviate some of that, that pressure on Jalen Hurts. So DeAndre Swift, the dynamic duo in Brown and Devontae Smith. And then third, lastly, most importantly, the third down defense. The Eagles defense has allowed a third down conversion rate of 46%. on 3rd and 10 plus yards to go in the last 4 weeks of this regular season. That's worse than the NFL. The second leading, in that category was at 19%. That's a big gap. So the third down defense is going to have to be able to get the team off the field and allow Jalen Hurts and that offense to get on the field to put up points.
All right, guys. So just to recap our keys to victory here for the Philadelphia Eagles, use a dynamic deal of A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Let those boys eat. Let DeAndre Swift get his yardage as well. So basically the Eagles need an offense of explosion and stop the Buccaneers on third down. Step up that third down defense. Me for the Buccaneers is to take away A.J. Brown. Don't let that dynamic deal eat. Take away A.J. Brown. Let himself implode that team. And I don't want to see the tush push. The tush push is a momentum killer. It's an ego killer. I don't want to see it. Make that happen, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And let Baker Mayfield throw the ball to Mike Evans over and over and over again. Those are our keys to the victory. Hoffy, with that being said, Monday night super wild card weekend comes to an end with the Philadelphia Eagles traveling to Tampa Bay. It is a rematch of what, week 2? Was it? Week 3. The Buccaneers did win 25-11. That was a part of their 10-1 start. But who do you got winning, Buccaneers or the Philadelphia Eagles?
I think the Philadelphia Eagles are going to win this game.
This is, I think, where we're going to finally disagree on something, Hoffy. The 49ers are hoping that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game because they want to play the Bucs. They don't want to be playing no Philadelphia Eagles. Because I think if the Philadelphia Eagles do get right and win this game, they could probably make another playoff or another Super Bowl push. But right now, the Eagles are what? 1-5 in their last 6. They started out 10-1 and now they're 11-6. It is a tough sledding for the Philadelphia Eagles right now, and I think they're done. I think they're packed up, and I'm taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think Baker Mayfield is going to win another playoff game with another team. So, guys, let us know in the chat. Who do you guys got, Buccaneers or Eagles, in this game? And Caroline says, I want to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I do like the Buccaneers. Listen, Hoffy, come to think of it, both of these teams are so bipolar, right? The Philadelphia Eagles, when they're good, they're really good. When they're bad, they're really bad. When the Buccaneers are really good, they're really good. When they're bad, they're really, 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 really bad. It is tough. Ant is battling with John over there with the MVP talk. But John says Eagles are ranked 30th in red zone against the run and ranked 32nd in the red zone versus receivers / quarterbacks. If the Bucs move the ball well into the red zone, then the Eagles could be hurting. They'll need Hurts to step up. I did not know that about the Eagles' red zone defense. I did not realize that the red zone defense was that bad. That's tough, baby. Hoffy, does that make you want to change your pick at all about those red zone stats?
No.
You're sticking to it?
Nope.
So
I'm sticking to it.
We agree across the board, except for this Bucs-Eagles game. So when we battle the NFL experts in our pick'ems, we either going to be really, really, really good or really, really, really bad. So let's hope it's on the really, really good side of like this week's picks, Hoffy. But guys, that's going to be it for this week's show. Enjoy some super wild card weekend, guys, coming up. We will be streaming the playoff games on our affiliate stations here. So if you guys do not get Peacock or whatever, stay tuned to the Facebook page on Man Hour, and we'll be posting those links for you guys moving forward. But Hoffy, send us out, big guy.